Welcome back to Access Houston on 97.9 The Box.
Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth. We got King Power in the building. He is former NBA player, played for the Magic, played for the Seattle Supersonics, played for the Washington Wizards, and now he is the team captain of the Big Three team, the three-headed monster. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a legend in the building. Rashard Lewis is here. What's up, G?
How you doing? Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you for being here. Also got the fellas with him.
Yeah,
Mr. Ken Gamble. How you doing, G?
How's it going?
And we got the twins, Edward and Emanuel, in the building, representing Rashard Lewis Academy.com. Welcome to the program, fellas. Rashard, I done ran into you, or I not ran into you, but I've seen you at like a bunch of concerts here in Houston. And I think the last one I saw you at, damn, that was a couple years ago, but that was the Bruno Mars. I was like, damn, this is my third time seeing that man. Does he live in Houston? Like I was so confused, but it's glad to see that you back on the scene.
Yeah,
man.
I always come back home. You know, this is where I grew up at. My mom's here, family here, so every chance I got, especially when I was playing, I came straight back to Houston just to be at home around the atmosphere that I grew up in.
Mm-hmm. How is it now with everything that has happened, your extensive career in the league, and now you're part of the Big Three, owner of
the Three-Headed Monsters,
yeah. How did all that come about? And just when you look at your life, like what do you think?
You know, I felt like I've not only came a long way, but I stuck to the program. You know, even when you had the ups and downs, you have years where things didn't go your way. But, you know, I always woke up the next day and said, there's another day. And I think that comes from me being drafted out of high school when I thought I would be in the lottery in the first round. Ended up going in the second round. Had to make the team. But, you know, I always kept pushing. I never gave up on myself or on my dreams. And I feel like that's the reason why I was able to play 17 years in the NBA.
Yeah, 17, man.
Yeah, came out of high school, you know, came in as a teenager, so I was able to, you know, not only play for a long time, but learn at an early age and was able to go into my prime even at an early age in my early 20s, and I kind of knew the game a little bit.
So being in the league that young, like what did that teach you in terms of in life? Like what were some of the first mistakes as a kid with all of that money that you made that where you was like, damn, if I only knew then?
Well, when I was a kid, you know, I didn't know what to do. First thing obviously I did was get my mom a car and then put her in the house. But after that, it was like I was doing a lot of crazy stuff, as in I was just going to the mall or buying stuff that I probably didn't need. I think it was more of me being a teenager coming into a world full of grown men. You know, you got guys that are in their 30s, they're married, they have kids. And I think I was a little bit more shy at that aspect because I was a kid, you know, and I didn't want to step on nobody's toes, didn't want to get in nobody's way, but I also wanted to be successful. So I think I came in the game kind of shy and hesitant, but I think the work ethic is what got me to that next level and got me a guaranteed contract with the Seattle Supersonics.
No doubt. Listen to Access Houston, talking to Rashard Lewis. Also, the fellas in the building, Kim, Emanuel, and Edward. Let's talk about the gym, the nonprofit, Rashard Lewis Academy. How did this come about? What was the inspiration behind having this organization?
Well, it all started when I was playing in the NBA. The twins, Edward and Emanuel, started a AAU program that they wanted to start while I was still playing. That they kind of built from the ground up here back at home in Houston, Texas. And I came home every summer and was able to kind of be a part of it a little bit, but I wasn't at home a lot, especially during the years I was playing. So they was pretty much the brains behind everything, and I just kind of supported them while I was playing. Now that I'm retired and back home, I can kind of, you know, help out with the little things that they need. But I mean, if you want to talk to the twins, I'm about to ask you the groundwork of how it started with them and how they got started.
What was the inspiration behind it?
Well, we started out training. Me and my brother, we started out training kids, and the people that we trained, they loved me and my brother so much, they decided to start a basketball program for us. And by, you know, Rashard being me and my brother's best friend, we was like, hey, nobody know Ed and Emanuel, so let's call it, you know, Rashard Lewis. Everybody knows who he is, and once we started, Rashard Lewis, it was a change to the city of Houston. 10 years,
Yeah. So after 10 years, like, what has it been like?
We ended up growing really fast. The first year we started, we went from 2 teams to 6 teams, all the way to 17 teams, and then once Rashard retired, we just decided to be more than the AAU program. Decided to change basketball in the youth, or just change the outlook of how kids look at the fundamentals of basketball, period. So that's when we came together and linked up with our director, Coach Ken Gamble, and decided to start the academy.
Indeed. And Coach Ken, tell us about the importance of how being a part of a team, how much you learn when you are a part of an athletic team in terms of, discipline and practice and all of those principles that come with being an athlete and a teammate.
Well, I think it's just all about life. You can't exist in life by yourself. So you got to learn how to work with others. You got to learn how to deal with people in different platforms. And for us, we all have went through this path of basketball journey. Me, the twins, Rashard didn't go to college, but we went and played college basketball, and then we also dabbled in the professional sector too. So it was a lot of things we learned through that process on our own. And so, for us, it's more about just giving the kids the knowledge that we didn't have at those points, just sharing that wisdom with them at an early age, whether it be from a sports perspective or skills and, a basketball perspective or just life perspective, because we've all kind of had that, like Rashard said, bump in the road in different parts of our life. And, you see these kids and, we want to protect the future. In order to protect the future, you gotta put something in the youth that allow them to, push forward when things get, things are not as easy as it seemed when they in home with mom and dad, because they're gonna take care of all those problems and all those issues. So there's gonna have to be some things that you're gonna have to have inside that's gonna help get you to where you need to go. So when you talk about team, we're a team. Each one of us play our part. Rashard's the head of it. Then I have my role, and then the twins have their role, and then we got other coaches that are involved in the program. We got other people that's involved in the program. Some are in here with us today, and we're all a team. And our whole goal is to just bring Houston youth basketball together, and utilize that to just keep teaching life skills with the kids.
No doubt. You listen to Access Houston. We're talking to Rashard Lewis, Coach Ken Gamble, and Edward Emanuel, the twins. RashardLewisAcademy.com. Log on to there. What's it like working with these kids these days? Because they different. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but they special though.
They most definitely different. I think nowadays a lot of these kids want handouts. They feel like they automatically should be in college at a high level or playing in the NBA, that they're going to automatically make it.
Right.
But when I was younger, you got to really work. You got to train. You got to eat, sleep, and breathe basketball or whatever you want to put, football or whatever you want to do. And I think sometimes you have to remind this younger generation that nothing was handed to me or it's not going to be handed to you. You have to go out there and work every single day for it.
Yeah. I seen you make the face.
I think a lot of it is kind of our faults as parents, because us growing up, we always had the mind frame of when I get older, I'm gonna make sure my child won't go through what I went through, and that's really to provide a better life. When we grew up, we had to go out to the court or to go, the grind was different, and now now we made it to where, hey, our kid needs to work on his jumper. We got people to make him work on his jumper. He needs to dribble. We got people to make him dribble, instead of having their own mind frame or their own willpower to go do it on your own. And I think that's where the disconnect is.
Man, sometimes I envy athletes because I wasn't able to play any sports growing up. I had open heart surgery when I was 5, and so there was none of that. Baseball, nope, you can't play. Absolutely no football. Basketball, that's too much. I had in the 7th grade, I just started showing up to track practice like I had been conditioning all spring, and then, did my first meet, won first place 100-meter dash, 100-yard dash, and then second place in the 4x4. Then the coach was like, "Hey, Green, we got to get a physical."
Yeah.
And then the doctor was like, "No, too soon." And that's when I had a resentment towards sports, and like I turned to music and stuff. But I always wondered, like, damn, I wonder how good of a basketball player I probably could have been, or how good of a baseball player, or whatever I would have done.
It's funny you say that because in our academy we're working on an internship, and Ken can explain it to you a little bit more. Of it's not just about basketball. We're going to try to have people that can come over that want to either be a coach, a trainer, equipment manager, or even work, the scorebooks, the clocks, or whatever it may be. If you want to be involved in sports and not necessarily playing the sport, we have that in our academy as well.
That's what's up. Oh man.
Yeah. So right now, actually, once we leave here, we're heading to Prairie View, and we're working on a partnership with them. Like Rashard said, and like the question you asked me earlier, you said about a team. So there's a lot of like nuts and bolts to this whole operation. So that comes from the smallest sector all the way up to Rashard. So there's a lot of different roles that people play within our organization, and in order for us to grow, we got to have the manpower. And Prairie View is going to allow us to have that. We're going to be able to bring kids in that have passion for the things that we do, whether it's business side of sports or whether it's the on hands coaching, teaching side of sports. And so we have enrichment programs, we have our training program, we have our summer travel AAU basketball, we have youth leagues, we have a lot of different things that we're doing that we can involve these kids as they're in college and help mold them to be professionals. And we're looking, to try to get them to that next level, whether it be high school coach, college coach, professional coach, or the training aspect of it, or even on the business side. And we're expecting to really push Rashard Lewis Academy to grow, eventually expand, and hopefully these people can be a part of it for the long term. If not, short term, and they get the short term benefits as well.
For sure. And everybody, they should just go to RashardLewisAcademy.com, get all the information.
RashardLewisAcademy.com. Yes,
yeah.
Definitely.
I'm glad you mentioned getting paid in NCAA. What do y'all think of this new rollout and them letting these college boys get some money for the universities using their likeness and image?
I think it's a great. Like I said, a lot of these schools are getting paid off of these kids, and they're making millions and millions of dollars because of the talent that's going through these schools: basketball, football, baseball, at all sports. And you have a lot of these kids. Some are well taken care of as a child and have money to be able to go off to school, but some of these kids are going to college. And don't have a dime in their pocket, So now they'll be able to buy their clothes, feed themselves at school, as well as get themselves transportation to drive to and from class or to wherever they have to go. So I think it's a pretty good idea. I guess they just have to figure out how they're going to pay them and who's going to get what.
I see you got the big boy camera in tow. So there's a documentary or something on the horizon?
Yeah, we obviously working on a documentary of my life story of when I came out of high school and from the draft to the NBA, now Big Three. I mean, we in the end, as well as the Rashard Lewis Academy. So we trying to put everything into one video. Now,
is this going to be something that you're going to put out on your own platform, or are you going to shop this around?
We're probably put on. We're probably going to put out on our own platform, and if somebody want to pick it up, then that'll be good for us. But for now, we're just kind of working on putting it out on our own platform.
Yeah, so y'all got the 3-on-3 that's coming up. Talk about it.
Yeah, so this has actually been a process of a few years. We've been talking about it behind the scenes, and then the Big Three comes out of nowhere. Rashard's in it. He's back, on that platform, and it just made sense for us. We wanted to try to. We took a look at the landscape of youth basketball, and immediately in the city of Houston and in the Cypress area. And we saw where there was a big drop-off from kids 3rd through 8th grade. They wasn't prepared for high school. I mean, fundamentally wasn't prepared for high school when you talk about basketball. And so, we just kind of, brainstorm and through experience decided that we could teach those skill sets in a large platform from a 3-on-3 setting. And so we decided to start a 3-on-3 league, and the first session, and from September to October, went great. The community rallied behind it. The kids was very competitive. They was excited. They was leaving crying, every Saturday evening if they lost, and it just created a better brand of basketball for the younger kids. Sometimes the 5-on-5. There's a lot lost because the best kid to dominate,
right,
or the most athletic kid to dominate. But the 3-on-3, the half-court setting, it makes you develop that skill set offensively and defensively.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and we kind of did it, kind of mimicked the big three a little bit. We kind of made the court, we kind of brought the fans, made it more intimate where they're around the court, facing the goal. So the kids get a good, let's say, energy from that. The mom, dad, everybody screaming, grandparents and everything. And then also we have live streaming in our gym. We're housed in Louetta Automotive Sports Complex.
Okay.
That just opened up in April, and it's in the Bridgeland sector of Cypress. And nicest facility in Houston.
I was about to say that joker sounded like it's state of the art. I want to come out there and check it out.
6 courts, VIP session, got a Bahama Bucks in it. The kids love it, the parents love it, and like I said, we provide live streaming so the games, parents and the grandparents and relatives can watch it all across the United States.
Y'all got a gym as well, like where they can train, weights and free weights and all that?
Yeah,
no, not the weight room.
We don't have a weight room, but we do partner with a sports medicine company called All In Athletics, and it's on site. They have a swimming pool weight and everything, and then also for the kids that may have injuries and stuff like that, we'll send them there. They're able to go through rehab and all of that with them. So we got a one-stop shop in Cypress, man.
Well, I need y'all to make this publicly that you'll come back on this program when everything comes back around, so we can get the community out more for it. Definitely. And so we can have y'all back on.
Yes, soon after Rashard's documentary is finished, we'll be doing a late but not too late grand opening, and then we'll utilize some of the things that we're doing now to promote that, and so we definitely love to come back.
So tell us about the facility and everything that's offered in there.
Yes, the facility, 17120 House Howell Road, Louetta Automotive Sports Complex. We just want to let everybody know to come out. We provide training, also as well as leagues and as well as AAU tournaments and camps. And also we have an after-school program coming up in January. So we just want people to be on the lookout. We do have a facility to accommodate everybody, nice 6-court facility, state-of-the-art, and come on out and test it out for the one time.
No doubt. I would be remiss if I didn't ask this. I mean, I know it's still early in the season, but who looking good right now to y'all in the NBA?
Well, I'm a support my Sixers, so the Sixers are looking good. Without Embiid getting kicked out the game, we'll probably still be undefeated. But I'm gonna support those 76ers.
Okay.
I think it's pretty wide open right now. A lot of teams are playing well. It's still early in the season, like
still
you said,
early,
but
mad early.
I think it's something about those Lakers when you have LeBron James, a motivated LeBron James. I think they're gonna be a tough team to beat.
I think didn't he do his third triple double? Yeah, the other night.
Sorry, Houston. I like the Rockets, but I'm a Lakers. I like the Lakers right now.
Yeah. And who you got?
Well, it's gonna go through L.A.
It's got to go through L.A.
The Clippers or the Lakers.
Either the Clippers or the Lakers.
Yeah, and they'll be playing Philly.
Yeah.
Final. That's my prediction.
Yeah. Wow. Well, no Rockets mentioned. Wow. That's a wild scene.
The Rockets are a regular season team, man. They're not built for the playoffs.
Ooh.
So if we want, I'll put my name on it. But if we want to be excited about the regular season, I like watching. I'll just say I like watching highlights. The game is it's just different. It's different. But I like the Rockets. I support the Rockets, even though because I live here. It's home now. But I just wish I wish they could make some adjustments to kind of prepare for the playoffs, because, like he said, it's going through L.A. LeBron, Kawhi, those guys, they play defense.
Right.
They play defense. So the Rockets got to get a defensive mentality.
No doubt. Any shout-outs? Y'all want to say what's up to anybody anywhere? No?
Shout out to my family.
No doubt.
They know who they are.
That's what's up. Edward and Emanuel White, Ken Gamble, and the legendary Rashard Lewis, man. Thank y'all for coming on the program. Log on to the website, get all of the information, RashardLewisAcademy.com, and we're going to be looking for you, man. Can't wait for the three-headed monster, see what heat y'all going to bring.
Yeah, we coming back next summer.
Yeah, next summer. We got it, man. Thank y'all for coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And thank you for listening to Access Houston. Houston.